Indie tabletop role-playing games are undergoing a renaissance thanks to the website itch.io, and Oz is diving in to give them a platform on this show so we can expand your library and gaming experiences. Oz, what's caught your eye this week?
Oh, thanks, Bobby. So I have a lot of games that I could talk about because itch.io is just full of awesome games, but I have to pick one for today. So for this itch.io spotlight, I'm going to present 2400. It's a lo-fi sci-fi RPG by Jason Tocci because I think the game is a simple, streamlined alternative for fans of the cyberpunk genre. What I like about this game is that the rules fit on a single column of a single page, making it easy to learn and teach. And character creation and purchasable gear fits on another page, giving you strategic options that most one-page RPGs lack. But the coolest thing about 2400 is that it's a plug-and-play rule kit for which multiple settings can exist. Jason has already designed two settings for 2400. There's Intersystem Blues, where you play cyberpunk freelancers in a grainy retro future, and Cosmic Highway, where you play a crew of space truckers trying to keep your rust bucket flying. Each 2400 setting provides the GM a page of several D20 tables to generate situations, jobs, locations, and twists in order to prepare a session or run it on the fly. So if there's a property that you're super passionate about that also has game mechanics that you don't like or doesn't have its own role-playing game at all, you could create it yourself in 2400 by merely giving the flavor of everything a facelift. And while that might sound exciting, it doesn't really matter if the system isn't clean, but luckily it is. So here's how the game works. All you need is a standard set of D&D dice, and when you roll to do something, you roll a D6 by default, or if you're skilled, you roll a D8. But if you're hindered by an injury or situations, you instead roll a D4. And if you have an advantage, then you add an additional D6 to whatever that is. Check the highest die to see if it goes well, if it goes okay, or if it goes badly, kind of like an Apocalypse World, or Blades in the Dark. You can also willingly break something of yours, such as armor or gear, to make a bad result better. And that's pretty much it. Character creation is quick, so you can pick an archetype which grants you a couple of skills and some gear, pick an origin for an additional bonus ability, buy a few things, and away you go. And 2400 also comes with character advancement rules, which is very different for a one-page RPG. After a job, you can take a new skill at a D8 or increase one of your skills by upgrading a die one step. So a D8 becomes a D10, a D10 becomes a D12. You can also buy new stuff with those sweet credits you've earned. So, in conclusion, 2400 has so much potential for game hackers to create whatever settings they want in the shortest possible amount of time because the game has been designed to be a framework to do just that. So do yourself a favor and pick this one up. Currently, at the time of this video, the game is available for free on itch.io, though do consider paying what you want to encourage further development of this game. Link in the description below. And thank you to Jason Tocci for permission to showcase pages from the game. So we come from a Shadowrun background, so I'm sure our first thought was, oh, I could adapt 2400 into a Shadowrun setting. It might take a few more pages than normal, but there's no rule saying we can't get a little extra with it. But what settings would you hack 2400 for? I'm going to start with Opti.
My first thought was not Shadowrun, as a matter of fact. My first thought was
Sorry for assuming.
No problem. My first thought was a crew-based, like, spaceship type setting, right, where you're like space truckers or like Smokey and the Bandit with like a crew of people. I think that would be super fun, where you're getting around the law, you're transporting illicit goods, and just kind of generally being grungy, dirty badasses in space.
Very cool. How about you, Cliff?
I get a few ideas pretty quickly, but I'll toss out one of them that occurred to me. Just the idea of a squadron style group, where maybe they have some sort of home base or a carrier, but the characters all go out and they have their own starfighters, and you work in some sort of mechanic for dogfighting. That's in the sort of simple vein of the rules. It'd require a little bit of add-on and tweaking, but I think that would be fun.
Yeah, that seems pretty neat.
Bobby, I want to ask you a question that I did not prepare for. What did you think of the mechanics in general? Like, how do you find them to be simple, or like how do those appeal to you?
The mechanics seem simple enough, and I like it. I like stuff that very much that requires me to not have to think too hard to get into it. I'm that guy at the table that can't bother to learn the rules. And these types of one-page RPGs are really conducive to that. And it's funny that you asked that question because it sort of segues nicely into what I was thinking about, what I would hack the game into, because something I really liked that spoke to me a lot was how focused the game was on. It seems to focus a lot on archetypes. In the rules, the single page rules that you look at, you pick an archetype, and like the type of character that you are. I can't remember off the top of my head right this second what they are, but basically it's like a grifter and or like a combat person or something like that. But they're very strongly thematic in the way that they're described, and it lends to me sort of like I think it would work well in a noir setting. So, because it's a very strongly themed setting, and so I think I would love to play this game in something like that.
Yeah, that's actually a really, really cool idea. Well, check out 2400. It's available on itch.io, and you can also follow the game's designer Jason Tocci on Twitter at Jason T, and also at Pretendo Games. Links in the show note below. And we're on YouTube now. So this is the part where we ask you to like and subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Love you and see you for the next one.